Blogging. I'm sure you've heard about it, but no one could have imagined, at least myself for that matter, that blogging can be an occupation and not just a job, yeah, but with good returns, I must say. And I wonder what are the qualifications in becoming one. A very good evening, my dear friends. I am Waran and welcome to the Waran Shanmugam Show. It's a pretty Wednesday, 25th of August 2021, and we have with us tonight yet a pretty guest. She is known as the blogging guru, yeah, and don't play cause with her expertise in content writing and her passion in blogging, she landed as Malaysia's top 40 lifestyle blogger 2019-2020. Enough said, ladies and gentlemen. Let's welcome Charisha Sharma.
Thank you so much.
Hi there.
Hi
there, Charisha. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you? How's things?
All good, all good. Thank you so much. Welcome to the Waran Shanmugam Show. And thank you for being here today despite your very busy content writing schedule, I must say. Yeah.
Thank you so much for inviting me over. It's a pleasure to be here to speak with you, to share
You're
my
most welcome.
experience.
The pleasure is mine too. How's everyone at home, yeah, Charisha?
Everyone's good. Thank you for asking.
Okay,
Everyone's
very nice.
They're just indoors these days.
Indoors, yeah. Tell me about it. I mean, that's what way forward, the new norm they call it, yeah. But it's interesting how to be indoor can be exciting. Don't you think so?
I think my line of work is always inside the house, so I'm pretty much occupied with home. And I think also this pandemic has brought me and my family, we have bond like really closer. It brought our relationship even more stronger. So I have to give credit to that because, you know, when we are indoors too much and then we get to see the other person inside out that we don't really see over the past few years. So it's a beautiful feeling, actually.
Exactly. And yet some people I see they are complaining. So this is it, you know, Charisha. When they are working, they say, I want vacation time. But now they are given vacation time that like you can be at home like for the longest time and they say, hey, I want to start working. So that is life, I must say. Yeah. Well, Charisha, before we move on, right, let me share a little as to why I'm doing this, yeah, this show, the Waran Shanmugam Show. Basically, it's about women empowerment. I came across many wonderful and amazing women, and I still do, yeah. And they all have got, you know, a story to tell. And I just cannot keep quiet because I believe that if that story goes out, many, and I mean many people will be inspired. Like yourself coming here today and the sharing of your own personal story, which is going to be very amazing. And it is definitely going to touch many people out there. And therefore, I decided to do this. And I always tell this to our viewers, you know, Charisha, and it is worth repeating that they are more than what they think they are. I am more than I think. So, my dear friends out there watching us today, yeah, if you don't believe me, watch yourself. The conversation that I'm going to have, an exclusive interview with Charisha Sharma, and you will know that I am right. So for those who wants to know more about this program that we do, please follow our Facebook page, I Am More Than I Think. Click like, click share. So Charisha, I see you've got a lot of your photos taken, yeah, and I want to know if you are also into modeling. But before you answer anything, right? Let me just get everyone to get a quick peek at what I meant. Shall we?
Okay.
All right. So you see what I mean? So Cherisha, tell us.
Thank you. That was a lovely slideshow. It's kind of weird seeing my own self, but it's nice. Thank
And
you.
that's what, so when I went to the Instagram of yours, right, and this is what I saw, and it's amazing. So I was thinking whether you are really into modeling. Tell us about it.
So, to answer your question, like, no, I'm not into modeling. I'm just a normal, simple, regular girl who just loves to take selfie. But
Yeah.
being as a beauty blogger, I guess my face is my brand, and how I carry myself also matter for that thing. So about myself, I would say that I'm a very hopeful person. I always see, if there's one word to describe me, I'll always tell everyone like I'm hopeful because of all the experience that I've faced in my life. I always believe like there is always a light at the end of the tunnel. Regardless of anything that's happening in our life, I'm a person who's always very optimistic about stuff. Like I know that whatever happens, I know like there's always a solution to it since I was young until now. And that's the reason my mom always called me cheerful. Like I'm the light bulb in the house. So if I'm not in the house, it's too quiet, and that shows like there's a lot of hope in my family when I'm whenever I'm around. Excuse me. Yeah. So yeah, that pretty much sums up about myself.
Nice, nice, and rightfully said, yeah. Hopefulness, cherish, and that's where your name comes from, I guess. Yeah, Cherisha. It's a
Yeah.
lovely name because every day when you wake up, right, you have got something to cherish about, and that's amazing. So when you spoke about your youth days, even when you were young, your mom used to talk about how good of a person you are, and that hopefulness is interesting. Share a little bit about yourself, Cherisha, your childhood, and where were you born? Yeah.
So I was born in Klang, Selangor, and we moved to Seremban when I was like 13 or 14 years old. So it was a major shift in our life because we needed that as a family. And not everybody knows this, or maybe so many of people who knows me personally know that my mom is a single mother. So being raised in a single parenting household always have its um, challenges and also the good side of it. But challenges in the sense that we have the way how society always look at us. So that's one thing. I think to talk about my childhood, I will always say that I have a wonderful childhood despite of everything. My mom, she made our childhood like really beautiful. She never once make us feel the absence of a father. She would work like a father and give us a love as a mother would do, and that made the whole journey very pleasant. And coming to think about it, when I was like looking into the questions, I was wondering like, how is my relationship even with myself, or even with how is my childhood, how does that reflect me? And I think I had a wonderful journey, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. That was the best days of my life. And I guess the way how my mom actually brought us up definitely had made us closer as a family unit, and also together with my siblings. We don't really have any sort of like sibling rivalry ever. I think we are so bonded with so much of love that we never once even fight for stuff. Like, I mean, simple fight as siblings, yes, but we never had anything major. If we were to like argue this moment, we would end up the next moment we are like talking. So that's how my relationship is with my family, with my siblings, and I had a wonderful childhood despite everything.
Beautiful, beautiful. And tell us about your siblings. It's interesting, yeah, what you said, yeah. Little fights here and there, it's okay, but then you all did not ever had major ones. How many of them are there?
So we, including me, we have four of us, and I have an elder sister and two younger brothers. I'm the middle one. So yeah, my sister is very motherly. She takes whenever, since my mom would go to work, she took up the responsibility at a very early age, and she took care of us. So if there's one word to describe my sister, that would be like she's very motherly, very empathetic. She's also very worrying about us, our future, our life, just as how my mom would be. But she's a bit extra. She's always up there. And both my brothers, they are like my life. They are amazing people. I know that if I am going to fall down today, I know that they both will lift me up. That's the sort of relationship we have. I have a brother who's just 1 year, um, 1 year younger to me, Irvin, and we both were like best friends. Like it's just that 1 year gap, so we do everything together. We played together. We just literally do everything together. There was a point that my mom always tell people like these two are just twins, they are inseparable. And then came 12 years later, my younger brother. He's the joy of our home. He's amazing to be around with, and seeing him grow to be the person he is also very beautiful, because I feel like I invested so much with my younger brother, like with my sister, myself, and my third brother. It was more like we were at the same pace. But having a younger brother all of a sudden, like 12 years later, was just so. It's just so beautiful. So I feel like he's the little joy of our home, and he still is till this day. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. And tell us a little bit about your primary school. So you were there, and you came to Seremban at the age of 14, right? So your primary school was in Klang, is that so?
Yes. So I had a very beautiful prime time in my primary school. I guess that was the fullest that I ever had, like the feeling of having friendships. And also I think I really had what I that's the thing, like when I keep recalling about my primary school, it's so beautiful that I was also the Ola Ragawati in my school. I went for so many state level championship for running, and that was like my expertise. Then moving into secondary school, that was in convent school. It was a very brief time, so I never really made a lot of friends as much as I had in my primary school. And then there was a 1.5 year gap that I didn't go to school because we were all very, that was like a major life shift for us. We wanted to move from one place to another. We started selling our house, our car. We just wanted a fresh start, because I guess it was also too much for my mom at that point. Like, relatives were not very supportive towards the concept of having a single mother, and they would
Mm.
always tell her like, go and reconcile with your husband and stuff like that. So my mom knows, like, she knows what she wants, but the only way for her to ensure like we have a healthy family is for us to move to a new place. So we left everything overnight. We just came to Sramban like with 3 suitcase of bag, and the rest is history.
Wow, wow. I mean, that's amazing. And I see that you speak about your mom so very much. Tell us about your mom. And also, I want to know what type of parenting you had when you were young.
Hmm.
Were they the strict type, or were they the cuddly type? Share with us, Charisha.
So I would say my mom is a very strict person, but she also have equally a lot of love. So that makes us very comfortable to talk to her anything at all. Like if today someone would have come and given me a chocolate in school, and I would say, "Mommy, you know what? This guy gave me this chocolate." So we build up such a transparent relationship, like there's nothing to hide to her. So that made it easier, not only for me but for my sister and brothers. Like if we are loving someone or we are getting into a relationship with someone, we would actually tell her, and she would give us her honest point of view. And then from that we would actually differentiate and see like whether or not this person is good for us or not. Like, that's the level of that's a level of, how do I say, like a level of transparency that we have in our relationship. But I wouldn't lie, she was very strict to us until we reached to a certain age. So unlike every mother, although she pours a lot of love, like I want to say this to my mom. I always tell her this. I always tell, like, thank you so much for raising us the way you did. Because of your strictness that you did back then, today when I look back, as a teenager I could have done a lot of things, maybe get into wrong group of friends, or just waste my life. And but then, because she always make us like, we go to home, go to school, go to church, back home, school, tuition, home, church, like, it's always around that circle. And I would always think in my teenage life, like, why mommy doesn't trust me, or like, why mommy is always doing this. I always had that question. But now, being an older person, I think I understand to why she did that. She was being very protective over us. And yeah, it's I don't know how to say it. It's like so beautiful of my mom. Like if there's one word to describe my mom, I would say she's very sacrificial. She's the most amazing woman out there. She's very strong. I always look up to her strength, to how she raised us up. Being a single mother and raising four children is definitely not easy. And and I think more than that, she always tries to protect our family from the way how other people see us. I wouldn't lie, like there were many, growing up in an Indian community or being among the church members who are also Indian, they tend to look at us in a very different way. Like, she's a single mother, and it, it's always that concept of single mother couldn't raise child. The child is not going to prosper. Like that's the sort of thing I always hear throughout my growth. So that made me believe, like, you know what, I'm going to change the perception of people. Just because I was born and raised by a single mother, that doesn't define the person who I'm going to be. That doesn't define like I'm going to go into the wrong way, me or my sibling. We always have this thing, like we were very passionate and ambitious, that we wanted to do the right thing to make sure that we will become the pillar for my mom someday. So throughout our childhood, we will make sure like we get good grades. We'll make sure we make her proud, like constantly proud, so that people would actually say, you know what, you did the right thing raising your kid by yourself. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
one thing I would describe about my mom.
Oh, that's amazing. Saying, yeah, it's not an easy task, especially the community that you were speaking about just now. Mom, you did well. You did fantastically well, because looking at you, Cherisha, I think that itself says it all. So yeah, it's an amazing thing. Kudos to you, Mom. And I wish all the best to your mom, and the whole lot of you guys, because it's interesting how there are many people out there who pretty much going through the same thing that you guys went through, and they too would have been feeling the pain, and they don't know what else to do, because that strict environment has got a reason to it, and I'm sure now that you understand. And for those out there who are still going through this type of situation, or experiencing this life, Cherisha is here to tell you that, you know what, it's all worth it. So thanks so much, Cherisha. So I want to know about your first job, if I may. What happened? Where were you working? The first one. Do you still
Okay.
remember?
Yes, of course. I always remember my humble beginnings. Yeah. So I started off working in HSBC. That was my first job. So right after I completed my STPM, I had to go and support my family. So I put a hold on my education first because that was the right thing to do. And I knew like my sister needed help. I have two brothers who are still studying. So the only thing that was coming into my mind, hold on a second. I'm going to reduce the aircon because I'm shivering.
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
just to let you know also that I think there is some network issues where you are freezing every now and then, but your voice is crystal clear. So we are going to
Oh,
continue with this. Are you okay with that?
yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, I'm feeling
Okay.
much better. I was literally shivering just now.
Okay.
Thank you. So, yeah, like I was saying, I started off working with HSBC, and my job at back then, just because I was like right after STPM, praise God, I was given the job as being if I'm not mistaken, if I could still remember, I became a payment processing global support representative, something like that.
Oh
I
wow,
can't
that's a
remember.
long title, yeah.
Yeah, I was working for the outward remittance team. It was a payments team, and I think that was the best thing that could ever happen to me because that was like a stepping stone. I was not exposed to the work life. I didn't know nothing. I would say like my job with HSBC showed me like what real job was. And then moving on from there, I was there for like I think at least 2 years, and I had to step up the level a little bit, so I moved to Citigroup. And in Citigroup, that was like I think the longest that I ever worked with. I think I worked 7 years in Citigroup, and it was so that was like the real work environment. I worked with the anti-money laundering department, and being there was just so good. Like I really found my good friend, like my best friend there. And right after that, like I wouldn't lie, I had a dog bite. I think you must be aware about it. Like I had a dog
Yes.
bite. Um, that was, I think, exactly 5 years ago. And because of that, I had to take a break from work because my wound was not healing, and the stitches were still very fresh. So that's the time where I left job. I was thinking, like, okay, I have some savings left, and my mom and sister was like, you know what, why don't you take a break first, rest, recover, and then you can go back to work. But throughout my entire working experience, I always wondered to myself, like each time I traveled from Sroman to KL, I always wondered, like, what is life there for me? Like, is this going to be my life forever? Am I going to be traveling back and forth from KL to Sroman to KL, wake up 5 o'clock in the morning, come back home at 10, and then start back my life all over again? Is there life more than this? And
Mhm.
I was thinking, like, okay, maybe this 6 months break is what I need in my life. And I was just resting and recovering. And then my partner, my boyfriend, he told me that, you know what, Charisha, you have a lot of potential in you, but the thing is, you don't see it yourself. And I was like, what do you mean? Then he did encourage me quite a lot. And he said that you are a diamond under the rough, and you are not seeing what you are capable of. And I wouldn't lie, he was the only person that pushed me. Besides my family, apart from my family, he was the person that actually saw the potential of me being able to write, me being able to express myself. And he said, you're beautiful, you're young, you're always very ambitious about a lot of things. Why don't you give blogging a try? And I was like, what is blogging? And he was like, why don't you Google search, you see for yourself, learn for yourself. So then that's how I understood blogging. And then it came a point that my finances was like decreasing. I couldn't pay my bills on time, and I was going to a point of zero. But I never thought about blogging back then. So even though we had this chat, but it never crossed my mind like maybe I should try it. I say, yeah, yeah, I'm going to do it, but for now I'm just going to, rest and recover and come back stronger again and go back to another job. And he was like, you'll see, you'll see. He just ended that like that. So at that point, when I came to a point where I didn't have anything, that's where it struck me like, oh my God, how am I going to pay my bills? I'm like on zero now. I don't have a job. I'm 6 months unemployed. Who's going to take me? I don't have, apart from working experience, I don't have a study experience. Nothing is working out in my life. I was at the lowest of the lowest point in my life. And that's where I remembered blogging. And and today when I look back at it, I was like, you know what, that was the best thing I ever did in my life.
I'm sure, and it's interesting how you spoke about your partner, because there's always someone who will do that pushing, right? And only when you have that, right, then you will see that there's something out there which you don't see but others could, and that's amazing. And on that same note, when you said blogging, what is blogging? And I want to ask you the same thing. Enlighten us, please, Cherisha, with this terminology, blogging. What is this thing? Is it a
So
food?
blogging, well, like many others, I was like also like, what is blogging? But today, being in it, I would say blogging is just a digital platform where you can pour out your feelings. So I found it as a safe space that I can actually just talk about what I feel without feeling like being judged, without anything. I could just be very vulnerable there, and there will be a community out there that could resonate with me. So that's what blogging is all about. These days we have so many niches, like we have beauty niches, lifestyle, sports, esports. Like there's a variety of blogging platforms. So to me, one thing that really came into my mind is I want to inspire someone out there, but how am I going to inspire them? I need a catchy name for that. It took me months to even come up with a name called Inspired by Charisha. And and I made my blog under that as well, like inspiredbycharisha.com. And I think initially when I started off, it was zero, it was fresh, but I never knew. Like I was like, okay, I'm going to write, but who's going to read? Like and there's so many millions of blog in the internet. How will people find me? How will people even know me? And that was a question in my mind. And then my partner was like, you just write, there will be someone who's going to read it. You just do your thing. And that's where I went on. I really decided, you know what, if I wanted to do this thing, I have to understand what it is all about. Could I earn money from it? Could I make a living out of it? What is this first? But initially, it did occur in my mind like maybe I should earn it, but I never believed that I could earn through blogging. So I
Mm.
went on learning so much about blogging. I would see so much of YouTube videos. I would go ahead and read up a lot of blog posts, like how to set up a blog, what is the behind scene of blogging. I don't have like a experience in computer or IT stuff. Like I didn't know how to like design a website. And I think I will really give credit to Google because I learned half of my thing there. And today I can just even design a website for anyone who needs it. Like that's how far I've came through with my
Wow,
blogging.
that's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah. Yeah, and I still remember, yeah, at the very beginning, yeah, when you started out blogging, yeah, when there is a reply from someone, right, you'll be very excited, and I remember we all talking about it, yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you, Charisha, are you working now, or are you full-timed, part-time content writer?
I am a full-time blogger now.
Okay.
5 years ago, I made the decision to be a full-time blogger, and even before I get into a full-time blogging platform, I knew that in that period of my unemployment, in order for me to sustain a passion, I need to still have an income.
Mhm.
So what I did was I went back to work, but this time I had an ambition. Like I had a thing I wrote down on my book. I was like, in order for me to blog, I need a laptop. I don't want to take pictures from the internet. And I was naturally a good, I was gifted to take photos. But I always use my phone. And throughout the very beginning, I always used my phone. Never once, like, I had like a huge camera or anything like that. But then I was like thinking, in order for me to like take better clarity pictures for the blog, I need a camera. So I list down
Mhm.
the stuff that I need, and I knew that at some point I have to invest in my passion. It's impossible to want to invest in your passion when you don't have money. Like, you need to have something. So I was like, you know what, I'm not going to ask anybody for this. I'm not going to ask my mom or my sister or nobody. And I know I have bills to pay. But so, in order for me to even scale up the level, I have to first secure myself financially again, be independent all over again, and then this time work towards understanding what blog is all about.
Mm.
And the first 2 or 3 years, I never really made any income. But what I was doing was I was busy building my online presence. So what I did was I would post a lot of pictures on Instagram. So it was more like a strategy. So I know like I need a social platform, and Instagram was the place for me. So I curated my Instagram, everything, like I deleted all the pictures that's like with families and whatever not, and then I make it look like a really professional platform, and I only post about whatever I blog. I'll just post here, whatever I post here I put it on the blog. So it was more like a thing that I was just set in my mind, like if I want to do this properly, I have to go all out to it. So that's how it started. So through Instagram first, and then I link it with my blog. And whenever I go for traveling, I was like, why not I try the travel niche as well. So, I would vlog with my phone, and I was such a bad vlogger. I'm not gonna lie. I was literally taking, yeah, so
Yeah.
I learned it all from scratch. Yeah.
Yeah. So bad blogger, you are saying, but success through blogging is the title of this show tonight, and I could see that happening already. But I want to ask you this: what does success mean to you? And also this title, success through blogging. We went to and forth here a couple of times here as to what title we should put for the show with you tonight. And I remember this very clearly. After giving you the suggestions, you came up with this word, success through blogging, and I'm sure that it means a lot to you. Tell us what it really means to you personally.
So To me, I see blogging as a success because it gave me the freedom to finally live the life that I always wanted to. And yeah, it's actually freedom, financial freedom, freedom in expressing myself, freedom in knowing how to do things that I didn't know. Like, it was a way for me to push myself through to understand that, this is what life is and you can go further. If only you put your heart and mind and soul to it, you can go further. Like I never knew if I didn't test my waters back then, I wouldn't come this far. You know, like everybody would always ask me, is blogging even a thing? Do you even earn money from it? Like, they would ask, and in my heart I'm like, you don't know. So yeah, so all that years I was working with Grab, in the sense that I was working in Grab office. And throughout my learning with Grab, and I was placed in different parts of PJ state, and there was beautiful locations there. So I would always bring my camera to work. So during my lunch break, instead of eating, I would go around and take pictures just for my blog. And then I come back and do my work. In my break time, that's where I'll actually have my lunch. And that too, like, I would actually be busy trying to build my blog and build my online presence. I do stuff like I want to be noticed, but in order for me to do that, I know like I have to keep on doing. And
Mhm.
that's where one of my Instagram posts was recognized by the Body Shop Malaysia. And the day they actually reposted my picture on their platform, that's where like everything changed.
Wow, that's amazing. Tell me, okay, now that you're talking about this, share with us a little bit about that experience, that moment when that happened. Could you?
Yeah, I was in the same room, jumping in joy, and I was telling to mommy, "Mommy, look, they posted my picture, mommy, look." And my mom is like, "Why are you so happy about it?" I said, "You don't know, mommy. This means everything to me. Like, I've been working so hard for this." And true enough, like right after I my picture was reposted in the Body Shop Malaysia, that's where one by one beauty brands started noticing me. Then I collaborated with them as well. The Body Shop Malaysia, for the first event was with them, and that was a full on exposure. And then I went on with L'Occitane Malaysia, Melvita, and so on and so forth. Like, all these brands came to me, and I was like, oh my god, this is actually happening. So the moment I would go for like events, and then do live shows with people, and that's how I started getting more interaction on my profile. And that's how it also led to my blogging readers as well. So my
Mm.
readers sometimes, not all of them may have Instagram, but then they always read stuff. So I always receive a lot of emails from people, random people who I don't know. They would always say like, this story has inspired me today, this has spoken to me today. So then I knew, like, what, people need more of this. And regardless of what I do, whether it's a beauty niche or lifestyle niche, I always have to put in a little bit of hope in people, because this is what we live for, end of the day. So that's how it actually moved from here to here.
Yeah, exactly. And I like what you said just now when you were jumping. Your mom was asking, what's the big deal about it? Because
Mhm.
obviously, even if my daughter were to jump like that, I wouldn't know because it doesn't mean anything. But
Yeah.
you guys know what it really means. And I want to know how this happened. Malaysia's top 40 lifestyle blogger. How
So,
did that happen?
how do I say it? So, a year or two ago, like, then I received a email from FitSpot. So they are one of the most famous search engines across the world. And they were like, we've been noticing the traffic on your website and the way how you are posting your stuff on social media, and we would like to give you this title. And I was like, is it for free, or why is this like suddenly? It's like, yeah, it's just that you have a very good traffic on your blog. So that means you are doing something good. So we just want to, like, give you this feeling, because we just do it. It's a search engine. So I was like, oh my god, is this even serious? And that's why I knew, like, oh my god, okay, you know what, this is a thing. So ever since they even posted me as one of the top 40 bloggers, I also start receiving a lot of traffic, a lot of readers from their platform to my social media, and also through my everything else. So behind the whole scene of blogging, there's a lot of work where people
Yeah.
don't really see it. Yeah, so that's how one of the ways how I receive traffic even to my blog is also through feedspot.com.
So what you're saying, Charisha, is that people are watching you, yeah?
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, so that's nice. Yeah, that's very nice. So if you think that you are a blogger, once you are a blogger, you are going to be not seen, yeah, by any. You will never be in that situation because everyone will be looking at you and they know who you really are if you really do something good. And good means anything, yeah, anything that you are passionate about. Now, I'm sure many of our friends out there are waiting for this moment. So tell us how someone like me or anyone out there could be a successful person through blogging, Charisha.
So, to rather define it, I always tell people who wants to start a blog is to be authentic, be yourself. The
Okay.
moment you be yourself, because you cannot imitate another person, you cannot be who this person's, if let's just say you have a friend who's very successful in a certain niche, you can't just copy this person and try to portray to be that person, because that person is unique for a reason. So try to find what are you really passionate about. So for me, I knew that I always wanted to write inspirational stuff through my life experiences. So that's where it started off there. And then since I noticed like I get a lot of exposure in the beauty niche itself, that's why I decided, you know what, I'm also going to do something in the beauty niche as well. Because people want to always, like, people want to know what's my skincare regime, or what is, how am I doing my hair, or how am I doing my makeup. So I dedicated just like a beauty column just for that as well. Then I started doing lifestyle. So under lifestyle, whenever I travel, I always write my experiences, my reviews. I just give genuine stuff on my platform, and I take a lot of good pictures. So I keep posting them. So to me, if someone were to ask me like what really makes blogging successful, is you being you out there and you try to tell your story, like you own your story, you share it to a certain group of people that could actually feel you, resonate with you, and would leave feeling very impactful.
Yeah. So, Charisha, if I may ask, many people wonder if you can really earn money out of blogging. Can people actually earn money out of blogging?
Absolutely.
Really?
There is so many ways that we could actually earn through blogging. I started off with affiliate marketing in the first place. Like when I initially started off my Instagram platform, I never really took any amount of payment because I never knew that I could actually charge for a certain post. So what started off was as an affiliate marketing. So let's just say a brand sends me a lipstick, for instance. They would give a unique promo code, and each time my followers were to use that promo code and check out from their website, I would get like maybe a 30% of commission. So it was more like a commission based. Then um then moving on from there, I when I started understanding even more about social media, that's where I learned, like, you know what, it doesn't, even if you have 1000 followers, you could actually charge a certain percentage of amount based on the engagement of your entire social media. So the moment I grew to understand how my insights work, like, if you are using a business profile on Instagram, you can see like how much of impressions you get per photo, or how many people visits your profile. And based on that, I understood that I had so many people that is actually looking at my stuff, and numbers always play a very huge role. So I would share this with a brand, and I would quote the price. So technically, I have like now 14,000 followers, for instance, and I would tell them, okay, for you to give me your product, this is going to be like a paid review. I have a small fees, but I would also give them like what I would offer for them. So in order for me to post something on my Instagram, I'm willing to do this and this for them. I can do it some stories for them, and that is how I also earn money. So other ways that we can also earn is obviously through Google AdSense. So whenever anyone visits my blog, and there is like small advertisements going on, and these were all like click per impressions or click through rates, and I get to earn a little bit of money from Google AdSense as well. Then apart from that, I also sell like digital stuff. Like I have a digital planner, digital calendar, and I also do ebooks. Whoever who wants to learn something, like I don't have that option on my blog because I notice people like to steal content quite a lot. So anyone who actually wants to learn something, like wants an ebook, they would email me, and I would also charge a small amount of fees. And apart from that, if a brand wants me to write like a beauty product, like a skincare product, and I would say, okay, for 500 words, this is a fixed amount, and I'm going to put it on my blog for, let's just say, 1 year. And I would also share with them like the insights of my blog, like how many readers are there, how many people are viewing, what's the unique viewers, and all of that. And once they're happy with it, then they would give me their content and everything needed, and I would write like a proper SEO researched article for them. So that's like few of the ways that we can earn through blogging. So I don't only earn through my blog, but also through my Instagram as well. So there's two different ways. And recently, I have this option, like everybody wanted to learn blogging, and since they knew, like, we could earn something out of blogging, I decided to, like, teach blogging. So I had a workshop recently, and having workshops like this, also like an online workshop, people would some of the girls would pay like a small amount of money just to learn from me. So it's more like a learning thing. So there is a lot of ways that we can earn through blogging. Most people think like this is just through Google AdSense, but Google AdSense is just one part of the whole project. Like you can do a lot of things online, you can sell anything, and the full returns actually come back to you. So there is a lot of way we could earn through blogging.
Interesting, interesting. So, if they were to wanting to learn about blogging, probably the workshop, or want to get the ebook, how would they contact you?
Usually it's through email. Yeah,
Okay.
so because I'm always either posting on my Instagram, like if someone wants to learn something from me. So my Instagram is like a point of call to action sort of place where everybody would love to see what I'm doing there. So I try to incorporate even my blogging life on my Instagram. So if anyone wants to learn something from me, they see it through my Instagram, and then they learn it from me, either, or how do I say it? Or either, yeah, through email. Mostly it's through email and through Instagram. Everyone would actually see what I'm doing, my followers especially.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah. So simply said. And here we are sitting down and thinking about what blogging is all about. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this, we are with Charisha Sharma. She is the blogging guru. Yeah. Listen to what she have got to say, because she is a professional. She is successful. And once you hear what she has got to say, your life, everything will be transformed. So now, Charisha, back to what we were talking about. Can I know if there are many or any women in this area of entertainment? And I call this entertainment because it sounds so entertaining, yeah, blogging, yeah. So tell us, how many women are out there as bloggers?
There is actually quite a number of bloggers out there, but to me, I feel like it's very less in my country, like in Malaysia in itself. Like we do have a lot of beauty niches, but we don't have like a wide range of people doing blog like professionally or probably earning from it. I don't see that, but I knew like there is a couple of people from the US. I always love to follow this person called Sazan. She's really very amazing, and the way she carry out herself, like she also had like a humble beginning just like me. So I resonate with people who actually has a story, and she almost have the similar story as myself. And I always look up to her. I see how she would create the blogs and be she's a mom blogger. So it's so nice to see how she incorporate her child, her husband, and everyone else just into the blogging niche itself. So yeah, there is a lot of people, but I think it's just an untapped market in Malaysia.
I see, I see. And you spoke about two things. One is about the lacking of this interest in Malaysia, and the second one is Sazan. Yeah, I want to know, one, why we here in Malaysia there is this lacking, and two, besides Sazan, who are your real mentor in this world of blogging besides Sazan?
I think I would definitely say my partner.
Ah, there you go.
He
I
was
know
the
that answer
only
will come, but yes,
yeah,
go ahead.
he was the only person that sees me through, like sees me struggle. He knows the tears I've shed, the day like when I got at least one reader, how I jump in joy. He understood what I was heading towards to, and he never once said that you're not going to make it. He always say you will make it. So he was the only person that knew everything, and he's very good with website. So he saw me through, and he would always say, okay, you're doing this is wrong, this is wrong. He would teach me. He was more like a teacher for me. And throughout my blogging experience, I think I would really give this to him, because if it wasn't for his push or his guidance, I don't think I'll be where I am today. I would still be probably just working somewhere and still doing and still thinking, okay, I
I
wish I
know.
started off. So I would give the credit to him for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think if the many women out there in Malaysia, if they were to have partners like yours, then we will
Mhm.
have more bloggers, female bloggers, I would say. Yeah. Now, I heard that you're also a student now. You want to share a little about this new journey of yours, Charisha?
Yeah, so I always wanted to study. I think that's something that always stay in my heart. um, I knew that someday I will study, but back then I just didn't know when, because the moment when it comes to like family responsibilities or my passion, obviously I will put my family first in everything. So when I knew we were all like, we were doing well, my brother graduated, Kevin is done with school, and I feel like there is a huge part of a responsibility that's lifted off my shoulder. I know my mom is in a good place, sister is doing well, married and happy, settled down, and it's just that moment back then. It's like me and my sister, we carried so much of family responsibility at that moment. I don't think I would have even completed my education if I were to do back then. But I always had this thing in my heart, like, I always wanted to study. I don't know when. Maybe someday, even after I get married and I have children, I will. I just don't know when, but I know I want to. So when we had this, COVID-19 started happening and we were all indoors, and I always throughout my period of searching for blogging and trying to do what I love doing through blogging, I was also avid humanitarian. So when I went and did a lot of social work, I understood that I have so much of empathy for people. But in order
Mhm.
for me to like serve them, or for me to treat them or do the best thing, I was thinking like, what is the best education for me? Like, how can I even help people who is underprivileged? Then I thought about like, how about bachelor's in social work? And I was like, it's just one part of the thing. I cannot do a huge thing. Like, how is this going to be for me? So the more I started, I just prayed to God and I just said, the Lord, you know that I have this desire in my heart to help people out there. I cannot seem to choose like what's really important to me. I don't want to listen the noise of people. I want to listen to what my heart says, and you just guide me, Lord. So the more I do social work, the more I understand like that the only way for me to actually be closer to people, to even help them, is through psychology. And that is where I decided, what, I'm going to study psychology, because it not only helps me to be closer to people, but someday I could land myself in a really good job in this field itself, because this is something that I always wanted to do. And I always had this in my heart, like I wanted to be a psychologist, but I never thought I had that thing in me to do it, because I always felt like, am I am I worth it enough to do psychology? What is this for me? I'm writing, and I it's like a two different thing for me. Like writing and psychology is like totally a different thing. Then in my heart, I'm like, I can be two things in one time too, because I'm still the same person. And if I have the same desire to do something, I can also succeed in something. So that's why I decided, you know what, I'm going to enroll myself in psychology course. And here
Yeah.
I am. I'm in my year two, and it has been a wonderful journey. I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's the best decision I ever did. I'm really growing to love psychology. My marks are like I never failed none of my exam. Everything has been A's and B's, and I'm really happy with this journey.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Charisha, every time when I bring a guest here, right, when they tell stories, right, there's a point where I will have these goosebump moments. And this is my goosebump moment with you, whereby I see the transition that was happening in your life. And it's very amazing. It is so pleasing to hear, right, how you grew from one level to the other, and you are who you are today is because of you being very real, very genuine to yourself, and of course your mom, your siblings, and God with you, and therefore you are who you are today. And I'm thankful that you are, and I'm using this word, successful.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. And I want to ask you this, Charisha, and I think this is an important question also, because every time I ask this to my guests, I get different answers. So, Charisha, have you been in any point of your life experienced discrimination as a woman? Could you share
Mm,
that thought, please?
I think discrimination in the sense, like for me, was always in the work setup, because they wouldn't give me like the jobs that I previously worked with. They either wouldn't allow me to grow up the ladder because either I was too young or because I don't have a degree. So this was always a common challenge for me. Like that was also one of the reason like why I left, is because I'm like, I don't need to have a degree to write as long as I have a passion. That's important to me. If I have the gift in writing, I'm going to write anyway, like regardless of having. So to me, I feel like that was the only two things that I wasn't able to grow up in the corporate ladder. That's the only two things. Like it's because either I'm too young or I have lack of experience despite of having working experience, or because I don't have a school degree. So that was one of the reason like why I couldn't grow up the ladder in throughout my career. And that's
Mhm.
fine with me, because I mean, if it would to happen, I wouldn't be where I am today. So everything happens for a reason, I always feel. So yeah, this is just the two main thing.
All right, all right. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah. Okay. You shared so much, Charisha, and we can go on still. Yeah. But remember, we planned for 40 minutes. It's going to be an hour because you shared so many things, and it's interesting how whatever that you are saying, or you have said, definitely touched a lot of people out there. But any message to the people out there who may think life is boring, maybe, or worse still, life has no meaning? Your message to the world, Charisha.
I would say that um, never give up on anything in your life, because you never know where you'll be. Like me being raised by a single mother, and how society has seen us, and how I grew out from it. Back then, I never knew like the possibilities that was there for me. But the only thing that led me through was hope. I know that tomorrow will be a better day. I know that tomorrow will be good. And with that hope, I'm I am who I am, and that's I give it up to God. Like, I'm a very spiritual person, and I would give this credit, like my faith is a huge part of who I am. And I would definitely encourage everyone else that keep on holding through. And if you have passion that makes you scared to sleep at night, then you have to work forward to it. And that's what I did. I always envision like I have to write this and that, and that's what went through. Like I think it's always that passion in us. If we have that passion that can move mountains, then we are going to be unstoppable. And whatever situation that we are feeling today or facing today, that's not going to be the end of our life. Like, this is just a phase, and this will move on to another. So keep on holding stronger. Life is a beautiful gift. Just because we have pitfalls and downfalls, that it doesn't say like that is the end destination. We have a long way to go in our life. This is just a phase of our life. So maybe I'm in this phase and tomorrow I'm going to be here. So just hold on stronger, and life is so beautiful. Move on to your like something that you're passionate about. Yeah, that's all I have
Yeah,
to say.
Thank you so much, Arisha. Well, what can I say? Yeah, it was indeed an eye opener to me, and I'm sure to the many people out there. Thank you so very much for all the sharing. You are definitely a true inspiration, yeah, to the many people out there, especially women of all ages. And thank you, Mom, for giving us Charisha, because of her, this world is a better place. Yeah, and on behalf of the many out there, Charisha, I would like to wish you all the success and many blessings in this new path that you are taking alongside your blogging. Yeah, psychology. Yeah, psychology is very nice. Once
Thank
again,
you.
thank you, Charisha Sharma.
Thank you very much, Mr. Warren.
Well, my dear friends, thank you for the comments and thank you for watching. You see, there are many ways you can be successful, and all you need to do is just follow your heart. Follow what your heart says and add in some logic to it. And if it gives you that lovely sensation in your heart, together with a little fear, I would say, then that is it. You are on track. Polish it till it glows. Charisha saw that, and I wish you would too. Remember, I am more than I think. This is Warren here signing off. Meet you again, same time, same day next week. Bye.